contractor to organize the parking area. So that is now what is at stake. There are other sports infrastructural commitments which government made, and progressively works should start. And I remember the minister here said that the works of Akibwa were going to start, and this has raised a lot of issues. We need to find out from the minister how far he has gone with the Egyptians that he took to Akibwa. When does Akibwa start? When does Hoima start? When does Buhinga start? When do all the training grounds start? Because he made a commitment in this house. And it is only in the sports that bring unity, irrespective of your party, your religion, and whichever. It is only sports. So we need to embrace the sports. And as legislators, in embracing sports, we must do our appropriation, appropriate money for all these facilities. And they are priority facilities. The priority facilities we have is Akibwa, which was a presidential directive in memory of the late Akibwa. Then we have Hoima, and then we have Buhinga. Now, the playing grounds, the training grounds, most of them are within Kampala. So they also have to work on those training grounds for us to be able to host HAFCON. And we've asked the minister after the 2 weeks, after the works have been done, after what was raised by the team of Chan has been corrected, we would request him to write back to Chan to come back and re-inspect Namboole to see the suitability of hosting the games. And I don't want people to knock your heads over the things of the stadiums. They will all be worked on. I see the Akibwa team. The Akibwa team is really in a bitter fight because of Akibwa. This thing is they are going to be worked on. Don't attack the chairperson. They are going to be worked on. We have already made a provision for that money. Eh? We are going to work on those stadia. So when we start complaining as us, then what will the rest of the people say? So let's be patient enough. Money is available for that. But also at the same time, when we tell these ministers that solve the issue of the traders down there, the ministers must go and solve these things. Don't wait for us to come and discuss in the house. Now, assuming people close their shops there, and they are closed, what do you want us to do as members of parliament? Ours is to legislate. We don't do the administration of taxes. Honorable Bua, you really need to help us. They say the president was supposed to meet these traders. Why are you overloading the president? Why don't you people do your work? Now the shops are closed, so what are you legislating here? What are we doing here? Honorable members, we really need to get serious on this. We as a legislature, we are doing our part. executive, you must do your part. Why are you standing? Have I finished?
We thought you had finished.
Honourable members, as I conclude, I will amend the order paper to just designate one member of UPDF who was missed out the other time. So we'll designate. I've seen the dean, Madam Charity. then he will come. So
designation of members to committees.
Are you designate? Only.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to designate Honourable Major General Henry Masiko to the Committee on Budget. Therefore, he ceases to be on the Committee of National Economy. I beg to designate.
Thank you. Those in favour say on the contrary, nay? Let's have it. Honourable Lob, can you first allow your members, then you come last. The juniors. You see, you see, if you speak first, you would have blocked the others. Let me get a procedural issue from Mr. Procedure. And a clarification, then you come.
Madam Speaker, you are the one responsible for enforcing rules here. The rule requires that I am referred to as honorable member. I don't know where to appeal. But the procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, there is a practice, and I invite you to guide me as a way of procedure. You have reported on progress made in Namboole. Our rules protects you. We can't ask you questions and quarrel with you. You have said another commissioner will come here and also report. I don't know whether, Madam Speaker, because of the resonance and shabbiness of government, that the Parliamentary Commission now has taken over the work of government. Because I don't know how I'll ask my speaker to explain things I want to explain about Namboole, or I'll ask a commissioner. The other day, we had the deputy speaker assigned to go and visit Ruoa. I also had issues. So the procedural issue I'm raising, Madam Speaker, is whether, because of your knowledge that this government has nearly collapsed, that you have now taken over and we should no longer ask questions, for example, about Namboole facility to relevant ministers. We now direct them to the Parliamentary Commission.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ibra. First of all, in the public gallery, this morning, we have a delegation of council members for, what is the word? Okay. The Rwanda community, whose origin is Uganda. You'll forgive me, I may not be able to mention the other word. Among my people, you stand up and wave at the members. Stand up. I am going to start showing you the Rwandese here, don't worry. They are here. He is here. So, welcome. This is your parliament. This is your country. You're almost welcome. In the public gallery this morning, we have a delegation of executive committee and chairperson of Rugby Union Club, and they are represented by Mr. Godwin Kayangwe, the president. Welcome. We have Mr. Dongo Peter, the Honorary Secretary. We have Isaac Lutwama, the CEO. Welcome. We have Winnie Atiang, the coach. We have Leonard, the chairman, Eastern. We have Daniel Chanawira. Welcome. We have Brian Tabaruka. And we have Mr. Manzi. Welcome. We have Mr. Adam Kabalega. We have Kevin Nyeko. We have Lubulwa, Mr. Lubulwa. We have Emmanuel Fuduribo. And then we have Farouk Watmon. We have Andrew Cohen and Yasmin Mohammed. They have come to listen to the motion of Parliament of Uganda's successful bid to host 2024-2025 edition of Rugby African Cup. You're most welcome. Honorable Ibrahim, I went to Namboole on a fact-finding mission, not on the issue of the progress. And the commissioners of parliament are your members. There is no problem of you asking a commissioner of parliament. They are actually supposed to work for you and give you information on what is happening for us to be able to check government. So let's get a report from the commissioner on what happened. Where we have an issue, then we can be able to ask the minister to respond to it. Yes, Jonah?
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to first and foremost thank you for adding your voice and commitment to the issue of the pending stadiums to be constructed outside Kampala, specifically Kibwa, Hoima, and Buhinga. I think by adding your voice, like we saw with Namboole, we have hope that in the budgeting process, we shall move funds we shall provide funds, because as it stands, the committee reported that funding for Kibwa and Buhinga are unfunded priority. And during budget, I would be happy to see that they are provided for. But the procedural matter I want to raise, Right Honorable Speaker, is that when we raised the issue of Namboole, our concerns were specifically in the immediate, the ability for this country to host the next schedule of games in June, I think June 3rd and 10th, against Botswana and Algeria. And CAF had indicated that those next rounds of games would not be hosted because of the stadium is not ready. I have read through the rules, the regulations of 2022, which is called CAF Stadium Regulations 2022. And in Article 4, on the approvals, any request by the host nation for the stadium to host the games must go at least 75 days prior to the match day. June 3rd is about 35 days away from now. And that means the next schedule of games would not be hosted here. And you remember, Madam Speaker, you had also indicated that the country that had offered to host us, which is Morocco, one of our opponents in Algeria had registered an objection. The procedural matter that I now want to raise from you is, one, for the minister responsible to come and confirm to us where we shall host specifically the next schedule of games on 3rd and 10th, which is our home games. Where are we going to play those games? Then secondly, you had already, Madam Speaker, directed that the Auditor General does a forensic audit on Namboole. But from your communication today, and also I followed on TV, you appear to be satisfied with the progress of works.
Before you finish, I was very categorical that we have given you 80 million, added 17 billion. We are impressed with the work you're doing. You still bring in variations. However, I am going to ask for a forensic audit. I can replay it on TV because it was recorded. Whoever, I don't know who could have heard it. Yes, Edie. I said I'm going to ask for a forensic audit on how this money has been used. You're going to finish.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you for having given me this opportunity to give information on what you exactly mentioned during your oversight. Right Honourable Speaker, it is our mandate as members of Parliament to carry out oversight, not necessarily as a pleasure, but as a requirement. Honourable Speaker, the statements that you used, you were satisfied to a certain extent, but there was still some work that was supposed to be done. And this was actually played. But Honourable Speaker, I'm giving information, which information can either be denied or taken. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to inform this House that I had a privilege to have watched you when you were inspecting the stadium. I watched on TV, and the words that you used was that one of the statements that you mentioned was that you are going to ask for a forensic audit to make sure that...
Thank you. Anyway, Jonathan, we've given a lot of money to Namboole to a tune of 97 billion. First of all, one thing I want us to thank the former minister is that he initiated and ensured that Namboole was fenced off. Amson, I want to thank you so much that the fencing was done. That is number one. Even chased away with doctor. Number two, he made sure that we got a land title in the name of Namboole to a tune of 128 acres. How many acres? 128 acres. That's one thing. That's one achievement that we have as a country. You can continue.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I have no doubt that the Honourable Dennis Hamson Obua meant well. He was a fit and proper person for that ministry at that time until the appointing authority sent him elsewhere. I want to conclude, Madam Speaker. I welcome your directive on the forensic audit. I have also reservations.
But you have answered the question. You should be able to answer his question. I don't know where the minister is. Because, where is it? Sports. I want the Minister of Sports.
Yeah.
Don't disturb the old man. I want the Minister of Sports because he's the one who has been there.
Yeah. Right Honorable, I welcome that because I will also seek an opportunity to table evidence that I was challenged, made by the Minister. I want the video to be played if you allow. But I want to conclude that the issue raised by Honorable Semuju, I had the same about the role of our commissioners, that our own. We have a committee in this House of Education and Sports, and most of the work oversight has defined made by these committees. By sending our commissioners to go and monitor and come and report, some of the commissioners themselves, like my brother, the Honorable Solomon Silwanyi, and the 3 others who even sat in the commission and awarded themselves money and have refused to come and explain the 500 million, the 400. We have repeatedly been asking them to explain, and they refused. So for such commissioners now to come and purport that they are now going to represent the House in asking questions and accountabilities, yet they have failed to do their duty of reporting to this House how they awarded themselves that money.
Honorable,
Madam Speaker, I think this is a serious question, and the role of this House should not be relegated to the commissioners in their individual acting capacity. Otherwise, it makes Parliament
Honorable
look very
Member,
relegated.
Honorable Member, I asked a commissioner as one of, just like I would ask you, that go to Namboole and bring a report. But you are conflicted because you are the one who raised the matter. You raised the matter, and first of all, Honorable Dul, you must thank yourself, you and Nambeshe, Honorable Nambeshe, because the thing is being resolved because of you people. You still have a long time. You're going to talk about the Banaranda. The issue of Namboole is a sorted issue. Let me hear from Lob. For me, I wish you were standing to speak about those taxes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I've got 2 quick procedural issues. One vis-a-vis your communication. You mentioned last week we raised the concern of traders who did come to approach myself and a couple of other members of Parliament, raising several concerns. High taxes, the modus operandi of enforcement, EFRIS, and so on. We discussed those issues here, and your guidance was that the Committee of Trade was going to process these matters and get back to us.
Trade and finance.
Yes. But there's an emergency situation currently, Right Honourable Speaker. Traders are on strike. Shops downtown Kampala are closed, in Masaka and other parts of the country. I think that even as we wait for the committees of trade and finance to process, would it not be procedurally right for the executive to talk to us about this situation, because it has a huge impact on our economy. The traders are saying they're going to keep their shops closed until their issues are addressed. Last week, we were told the executive was going to meet them so they can share these concerns. That meeting has not happened, and so the strike is on, and they are unrelenting. Would it not be right for the executive to give us an update now, what they're doing? Because if we wait for the trade committee, and eventually they should get back to us, it might take quite a bit of time. The second issue, so they can be, you can rule on them together, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, last week, something bothered me in this House. One of our colleagues, the Honourable Sechikubo, stood to raise concerns about how commissioners sat in a meeting, shared money among themselves, and how money is used in this institution. And you, Right Honourable Speaker, referred to his submission as nonsense. I found that wrong. I found that unparliamentary, Right Honourable Speaker. And with due respect, I would like to urge you
Whereas you found it
to
wrong.
apologize and withdraw that statement, right, Honourable
Whereas you
Speaker.
found it wrong. Whereas you found it wrong. There is something that is pending that is supposed to be that should be answered first. Where Honourable Kazo also made an allegation. If you want me to apologize to you, I know you're a very big person. You're a leader of opposition. I am sorry to you, the leader of opposition.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Actually, the apology wasn't just for me, but to the whole House, because, allow me to finish this in a minute.
No, I am apologizing to the leader of opposition. The House does not fault me for anything.
Thank you, Right Honourable
Does
Speaker.
the House fault me?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for that apology. You see, a few weeks ago, the Honourable Wakai Mamsoke...
Honourable members, please listen. Let the law talk.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, as I was saying, a few weeks ago, the Honourable Wakai Mamsoke from Nansana did make a comment at the back, off record. He was responding to somebody who said, made some remarks, and then he said, that's nonsensical. He was off record. And, Right Honourable Speaker, you ordered him to apologize and withdraw the remarks, even when they were not on record. So my concern was that your submission of nonsense in reference to Honourable Sechikubo was on the Hansard, and it does not make us look good. In fact, I had expected that at the end of that session, perhaps you would address that matter, apologize and withdraw, and that's why I'm raising it now as a very serious concern, because people out there do watch us. They expect us to operate with decorum, but also, Right Honourable Speaker, as you keep reminding us, we have got to operate with decorum. So I was only imploring you to lead by example. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Leader of opposition, Mr. Sir, I am sorry. Can we hear from the traders? Minister of Trade.
Right Honourable Speaker.
You want Honourable Kimosho?
The Minister of Trade is...
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, in a bid to clean this House, the previous sitting, the Honourable Sechikubo complained that was trespassed by Honourable Kimosho and allegations of murder and land grabbing, which were not called for by that plenary. Right Honourable Speaker, by your guidance, the Honourable Kimosho was not in the House, and you guided that when he comes back will substantiate over the matter. Right Honourable Speaker, I'm seeking your indulgence whether it is procedurally right, since the Honourable Kimosho is here in, and we can't leave such issues go on since they are tarnishing the image of this House and the Parliament where I sit. Isn't it procedurally right that the Honourable Kimosho substantiate over the matter so that we fully clean up the image of this House, which is our blanket? Thank you.
Honourable members, I have an answered question of Honourable Dur, and I'm happy the Minister of Sports is here. Let's first get, before it disappears. No. Honourable Minister, there was a question from Honourable Dur. Honourable Dur, can you repeat your question?
Right Honourable Speaker, my question was that CAF Regulations 2022 require that the host federation writes to request an inspection of a stadium not less than 75 days from match day. That is in Article 4 of the CAF Regulations 2022. Our next schedule of home games are due on the 3rd and 10th of June, less than 40 days. So the question I was asking is for the Honorable Minister to confirm where, in which foreign country shall Uganda host its home games, given that Morocco, that had offered us a free venue, has received objections from one of the teams we are going to play against. The second set of the question was that the minister responsible for sports and I had disagreed on the statements he made when in Lira. And I was seeking your permission, that you grant me permission to bring evidence to this house so that we watch what the minister said, and thereafter, as we had promised, either him or I would honor the gentleman agreement that we made on this floor of Parliament. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. First of all, yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this chance, and I hope the minister will respond to this, because I'm on a record in the Committee of Budget stopping money for Namboole at that time. But I want the minister to come out clearly to tell this house and to go on record whether in Namboole you are doing renovation or facelift. You should tell this house, because people might be impressed by what they are saying.
We have a report.
At the 80 billion. So inform this Parliament whether you are having renovation or there's a facelift at Namboole. Thank you.
We have a report by the to that effect from our views. Yes, a clarification.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, yesterday when you were in Namboole, one of the revelations that came out from your interaction related to compensation. There is a gentleman called Fred Kakoza, who is in my law firm, claiming that actually a couple of people around have never been compensated. And that in itself also offends the CAF regulations regarding construction of stadia. That is an allegation out there, Minister, that you need to pay attention to and provide some clarification on the status of compensation around Namboole. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. So you're compensating them for building in their land or for encroaching in government land? Okay.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I would like to begin by thanking you for coming to check on the progress of the renovations of Namboole. They've been expecting, I received formally the letter of the Leader of Opposition, and I was in Namboole waiting to receive the Right Honourable Leader of Opposition with you yesterday. But I want to thank you, Honourable Mathias Mpuga, Honourable Geoffrey Kanya, and other colleagues who came to check on the progress of the work so far done. I also want to confirm, as per last evening, the management of Namboole informed me that they had received the balance of the 17.7 billion which we have been awaiting for the last 6 months. So, Madam Speaker and the Honourable House, I want to thank you for the commitment we have all put in to ensure that the Ministry of Finance releases that money. To now answer the questions of, to begin with, I still want to go on record that I, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, we are the ones who facilitated the CAF inspectors to come and carry out inspection. Why? We are aware that the contractor has gone to the last phase of the renovation of the project. I want to thank them for identifying some of the areas which, as the minister and as a client, we are working towards addressing those specific issues identified for purpose of us completing the works and the renovation of phase 1 of the project. To be specific to Honorable Seungu, is it renovation or what? Or facelift? I confirm what we signed as a client with the Minister of Defense is the renovation of Namboole. No problem.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And I thank you for responding to me very well. Could you help this Parliament get all certificates of completion that took place under the renovation by your company contractor known as UPDF, as per the law of Uganda? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I am aware once the project is completed, I would actually implore you, like you did direct, even if you need a forensic, even if you need a committee, we are welcome. Because as far as we are concerned, these are public funds. So Honorable Seungu, I want to confirm, can you permit me with permission of this August House that the work gets finished and we open up for scrutiny for purpose of seeing what this UPDF has done in Namboole, because there's nothing to hide. Number 2 and the last one. First, if I answer, I want to begin with Honorable Dur. It is true, as far as CAF guidelines are concerned, they have specific guidelines on how they communicate to the respective federations for us to honor which area the game must be played. To them, they came, carried out inspection, and they have given us their findings. To me, who is a client and the responsible ministry, mine is to work on those issues. I am also going to write an appeal, which I want to thank in a special way the Right Honourable Speaker for personally getting involved, trying even to get the consent of the CAF president in person, and also making sure that HED president speaks to the CAF people for purposes of us making sure that trying to appeal to them to come back and carry out another inspection so that we can be able to play the game in Namboole. So for the decision of us saying that as far as where is the country going to play the next game, for me, I want to say mine is to concentrate at a certain level that we work on those impediments which had been identified to be corrected within the 2 weeks. If they agree to our proposal to ask them to come and carry out inspection, we will be most obliged. If they don't agree to that, then I'll come back to this August House and give a communication and have to work with the Federation of Uganda Football Association. It's not government who determines where the team must go. I want to remind this August House, you appropriated money for government to support the national teams of football. By the way, it is, even if it's playing outside Uganda, is the government money which facilitates the team to go and play. The last question, most obliged, my
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Honorable Gwang for giving way. Maybe in the future, as I raise the clarification, you should get use of UPDF who are here, because they do nothing apart from sitting. Since they are the ones constructing in the future, they should be of help as you're able to explain.
You're saying what?
I have already said it, Madam Speaker.
They are doing nothing here. That's not engineering brigade.
They represent UPDF here. UPDF is the
There
one
is an
constructing.
order from Afande. Please.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Is it in order for a member to display his ignorance of the difference between a member of Parliament and a company of UPDF that contracted to construct the stadium?
The
Is it in
engineering
order?
brigade. That was an order. You know, we are all in a learning process. Actually, I didn't even know that you're not a member of engineering brigade. So we are all in a learning process. She's a member of parliament. there is a engineering brigade. There is an engineering brigade.
Madam Speaker, the clarification I am seeking.
Honorable members, you're here laboring when you have a member of football who should give you a better information. You're very lucky that I get my husband is here to give you information.
Can I complete the information I am seeking before your husband gives information? Madam Speaker, the Honorable Ogwang has stood here before, more than a year ago. I know, I mean, by NRM standards, maybe. But he said this stadium will be ready to host matches that we played in Algeria and other countries long ago. Now the same Honorable Guang is saying matters of where we play football is not his business. His business is superintend on UPDF to complete the facility. Can I ask, Madam Speaker, the clarification from him? Whether this Ogwang I see here was the same Ogwang that gave this Honorable Ogwang. I am sorry. And he knows I don't mean bad. Whether this same Honorable Ogwang who told us the facility will be ready a year ago is the same Ogwang that he wants us to thank Honorable Ogwang. You know, I am used to him as a friend. You will excuse me. Whether it's the same Honorable Guang now saying, no, the where football will be played from is not my business. Is he the same minister that said this facility will be ready a year ago and it's not ready? And now he's saying where we play football from as a minister of government, it is not his business. It's a clarification.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I don't want you to add words into my mouth, because you can go back to the answer which I said. I want to say the following. We are the ones who invited the CAF. CAF has sent a report to us through the Federation. By the way, I'm happy the President is here. He sent me the CAF report. We read it, and we are beginning to work on the issues CAF report identified as a client and a contractor. To be honest, we are trying our level best to make sure that we address those issues for purposes of us having the game being played at home. I have told you as Parliament that the Speaker has tried even to get in touch with the President to also talk to the CAF President. That's why the same FUFA President, who is a colleague here, also brought that as a second option for us to make sure that we address some of the issues raised, to make sure we appeal for whatever decisions which were picked, issues which were picked, for us to have the game at home. But nevertheless, I have said, in an event they don't agree to what appeals were giving, it's on record, it's government which facilitates the national team called the Cranes to play a game outside home because of the challenges of the renovations of the stadium. True, I made a statement. It is true, I'm the minister responsible for sports. I make that statement in line with the plans which have been laid out for purpose of completion of the stadium. But you've seen a delay which was caused by failing to release the balance of the money for the last 6 months. Is that Ogwang's problem? There was another problem which actually made us have a problem to cause another delay. The Minister of Works, first of all, Honorable Semuju, that's his new constituency. That stadium is a plan of 1972. For the record, the Chinese built that stadium, gave us as a grant. Getting the drawings of that stadium, it was a hassle. We had to, fortunately, Amson is here. Do you know one officer was refusing to avail the drawings of that stadium for purposes of wanting government to pay him money? So these are some of the issues which are coming up, which have made the delays of the renovation of the stadium, not the contractor. The contractor was on site, ready to do the work. But the challenge has been some of the impediment. The last one is to address the question which my brother, Honorable Dur, raised. Honorable Dur, for your own information, I did tell the people of Lango that I handed them first the contractor. The contractor agreed with me. They were sending a second technical team to go back to Lira to carry out what they call topographical survey, which I want to confirm. They have done it. When did they go within Lango there, within Akiba Stadium? It was done within a period of the 1 week after our visit. I do not know if the contractor has to go there. They have to publicly make it that have gone back to Akiba to begin doing his technical work. That's not for Guam. So I want to request, Madam Speaker, that for purposes of Akiba, and I really want to appeal to my colleagues from Lango, government under the leadership of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is going to construct Akiba Olympic Stadium. And that has been the long-awaited pledge for the people of Lango. It's on the hands of the government, and I'm working with the contractor to ensure that Akiba Olympic Stadium is built. I thank you.
Honorable members, let's finish so that we go to the next item.
Right, Honorable Speaker, 2 points of clarification. The first one, under Article 3 of the regulations of CAF, there are 2 inspection regimes available. The first one is the member association, in this case FOFA, can do a pre-inspection report and report to them, and if they are satisfied, the stadium can be approved. So I want to know from you whether you have already invited the FOFA to do the pre-inspection report before you even think about it. Not, yes, you will. You will. That's the first one. That's the first one. The second clarification, I don't like us going back and forth. And I'd ask that if possible, I would play the evidence of whatever you said in Lira. It seems that your memory has missed something. You did say.
Honorable members, the fact is Akiba is going to be constructed. Whatever who said where, it is already in the budget. The money is in the budget, it's going to be constructed.
I want to answer a technical question which he asked. As of now, I am aware of that as far as the CAF guidelines are concerned, and we are working to address the issues which they raise before we communicate to FUFA, to ask them to invite a technical person employed by them, trained by CAF to carry out an inspection. What would it add value to me that have received money last evening? And I go ahead and invite the same person to come and carry out inspection when I have not addressed these challenges which have been identified? Can you help me? Give me a week or 2. I finish doing on the work, issues that I raised. Then I now formally invite that person to come and carry out the inspection, communicate to the head office, while as government we also use other procedures of trying to appeal to them to have the stadium inspected and accepted for purpose of us playing a game here. All I want to request to your colleagues, friends, it is to all our best interest that the game is played at home. And we all want that to happen. What I ask you, stand with me for all of us to do whatever it takes for us to have the UPDF Engineering Brigade now do whatever it takes to ensure whatever issues which were raised are addressed for us to have the game played at home. And that's what I want to call upon us. Sports unites all of us. And that is the purpose of sports in the world. I thank
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, colleagues. I rise on your communication from the chair regarding traders.
Can we finish football? Let's finish sports, then we come there. Can I first hear from the FUFA president?
Pardon?
Yeah, I wanted some small clarification, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. When you are communicating, you said that there are scrap buses there which might hinder the progress of the work. I'm wondering who owns those buses that they still
You're going to
them
get it in a report.
there.
We have a report to that effect.
I don't know whether the
We
Minister,
have a
Madam
report.
Speaker,
We have a report.
can help.
We have a report to that effect. Can we hear from the FUFA president?
Right Honourable Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity to provide information for the benefit of the discussion going on. First of all, to thank all the colleagues for the support you have given us as a sector. But most importantly, Honourable Dul has raised an issue of regulations, and these are articles and regulations as how CAF operates. And I want to confirm to this House that he is correct, that CAF has a minimum number of days when they are supposed to communicate where the games are going to be hosted. However, it is also true that CAF Executive Committee has the powers to override some of those provisions, and we have gone for this provision, engaged the CAF, because the way CAF operates is that they inspect the stadium according to the current status. And when they were here, the truth is that we could not have a match in the stadium because of the uncompleted works. The uncompleted works, if you go to Namboole today and you take a selfie, it looks good. But for a football match to be played, there are certain technical issues that must be accomplished. For example, even the substitute benches have not been put. So it could be good looking everything very well, but until it is put and the inspector ticks the box that a match can take place at that moment. So when CAF was here, the inspection they did, it was not practical that a football match could take place. Our appeal to CAF is that they exercise the executive powers of CAF such that they can allow us to be able to complete the works as the Honourable Minister has explained, and then do the inspection again so that we could have a chance to host our games at home. CAF operates in such a way that you must enter, and it is a computer system, where you are going to host the games from. And that is supposed to be done 75 days before the match, which we did not do as a federation because Mandela National Stadium was not active in the system to be picked because it had not yet been approved. And according to practice at CAF, they automatically, if you don't mention where you are going to host the games, they mention it for you. And in this case, the last place we played our games is Morocco. I would not be surprised if CAF came out and fixed our games. That is in case they do not accept us to be able to be inspected and to pass the stadium that we would be hosting our games automatically in Morocco come June. Right on, our Speaker and colleagues, allow me use a few minutes to explain the smaller picture and the bigger picture.
Thank you very much, FUFA President. The clarification I am seeking is whether government consults you, because you've said they called the inspectors, well knowing that work was incomplete. Now they are all over the planet. His Excellency must be involved, his family, to call CAF. Do they consult you such that we don't make the same mistakes of inviting inspectors before the work?
Thank you very much, Mr. FUFA President. Further clarify on that, we recently saw the completion of Nachivubo Stadium, and we celebrated as Ugandans to say that we have another facility where such matches can be hosted. My question is, when Nachivubo was being constructed, was there technical advice to the extent that we can host a match that magnitude?
Honourable Speaker, in my second submission, which I was seeking, was the smaller picture and the bigger picture. And in that explanation, it would cover the questions that are being raised. First and foremost, the way the civil engineering projects are structured is that there is a client, there is a contractor, there is a consultant. In this case, the Ministry of Defense is the contractor and the Ministry of Works is the consultant. And the challenge we have is that the consultant should have the expertise to advise the contractor to do the right things. And I'm on record, and I want to go on record again, that to construct a stadium is a specialized type of engineering that requires expertise. And if you don't have this expertise, you should hire the people who have the expertise, and this is common practice. There is no one who has expertise in as far as stadium construction is concerned in this country better than the Federation and therefore CAF, because the CAF and FIFA work through federations. The way these projects are designed, the way these projects have been executed as if they are the usual civil engineering projects. We have made an appeal that for construction of stadiums as a federation, we get involved right from the beginning to advise, to be able to not make the mistakes that have been made. Even Mandela National Stadium is looking good. In the remaining days, the money committed can make us be able to play at home, but there were still mistakes done simply because of the lack of the expertise of the consultants, because the contractors basically follow what the consultants design and eventually advise. I would therefore like to appeal to this August House that such projects that are specialized, and we are the people that CAF works through, as we have seen, the inspection is done by us first and then eventually done by CAF. It will only be proper because there is a lot of construction of stadiums that is going on by private sector and also by government. That it becomes a practice that we are involved as a federation to advise such that we do not get some of the challenges. To be specific about Nachivubo, we were not consulted, and the CAF has done an inspection, and it has a report about the stadium, and as we speak today, we can still not be able to host an international game there until certain things are done in accordance with the standards. I beg to move.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I would like to thank the President of the Federation, let me call him Honorable Moses Magogo Salongo, for the information he has given. But there are certain things which I'll be forced to go on record, because he's my brother, and I'm happy he has raised certain things as far as the consultations are concerned. And I want us to listen to each other, because I must answer the statement he has made as a Minister of Sports. Number one, the entire renovation of Namboole, we have been working with the Federation. Yes. I'm first beginning with specifically Namboole. The Federation of Uganda Football Association. That's why I am saying I am here. Fortunately, he's here, I'm also here. Number two, please members, listen to me. Number two, why am I bringing this forward? I am aware that they have the expertise. That's true.
Honorable Minister, why I sent my advanced team was on a fact finding. And we should be able to get that information from the report that is going to be presented. Let's get that, because I don't want you people to look ugly between yourselves. You look very ugly. So let's get it from let's get it from the report. Let's get it from the report. There was a question that was before we come to the issue of the traders. There was a question asked. There was a question asked by Honorable Tebandeke. There was a question asked by Honorable Tebandeke on yes. Are we going to finish today?
Madam Speaker, the minister has just told Parliament that the former president has told a very big lie. That's what the minister has said. And this matter remains on the Hansard. If the former president has told a lie, can he withdraw and apologize?
I am saying, let's hear the report from Namboole, and then we'll know who is correct. Let's get the report and know. Honorable members, the issue I want to hear, there is a matter that was raised by Tebandeke. There is a matter that was raised by Tebandeke about Honorable Kimosho.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The matter raised by the Honourable Tebandeke accrues from the last week's sitting, where I raised on a point of order in this House, and my point of order was very clear on Honourable Theodore Sechkubo, that I have from time to time seen and heard in the news that he's a land grabber and as such facilitates land grabbers in his area. Unfortunately, when I had raised the matter, at the same time, I had a meeting of physical infrastructure that I was chairing. And I had to rush there because the minister and the UNRA had already entered. So it is not true that after making the statement, I ran away. Let me finish. I want to be categorical that if there is any clarifications, as he imputed here, that I need to substantiate, I would request that when he's in the House, he becomes clear on what he wants me to substantiate, and I will do. What I also want clear is that he referred to me as a hatchet man. But I almost got angry, but I also forgive him, because people use language that they commonly trade in. So, remembering the videos I've been seeing and what he's alleged to be doing, I felt maybe he's in the business of hiring hatchet men. And that's what informed his calling me of a hatchet man, because that is his language on a daily basis. That is my assumption. I would still want to go into that when he's here.
Thank you. So what we can do, we'll wait for Honorable
When he's
Secretary.
here, Right Honourable Speaker, let him be on record on what he wants me to substantiate. I will substantiate. Thank you very much, Right Honourable
Honorable members, we'll wait for Honorable Seji to be here, and I want to re-echo this to. I want to re-echo this. Honorable members, I want to re-echo this to my boss, the leader of opposition. As a leader, we enjoyed to lead by example. This House is guided by rules, and the rules are guiding principles. If, in the opinion and judgment of a presiding officer, the member holding the floor is acting in a total disregard of the rules and guidelines of the presiding officer. The presiding officer has a humble prerogative to guide the House, as I did when Honorable Sechkubu did in total disregard to the Speaker's guidance. Even you, as a leader of opposition, my boss, when I tell you, leader of opposition, sit, you do. You've never defied it. Never. And I must really thank you for that. And going forward, I want to request and urge members to always comply with the guidance and the ruling of a presiding officer to avoid bringing integrity and for us to bring integrity and sanity to the House instead of bringing disrepute to the House. Let's have respect for each other. Because if you're not talking, if I am telling you sit down, it is very simple. Common knowledge that even my small Valongo will understand. If I tell Tenua sit, Tenua will sit. Workers, traders, there's a trader there. No, let's get.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in the first session of this House of the 11th Parliament, this House resolved that government comes up with a comprehensive, documented taxation policy. And Right Honorable Speaker, as per Rule 220 of our Rules of Procedure, the executive has to come with the action taken on the resolutions of Parliament. Since the first session, we have not heard anything from the executive. Right Honorable Speaker, this August House has been tirelessly working on the issues of taxation. In the motion that was moved here, we had issues to address, like a deepening and widening the tax base. Right now, Right Honorable Speaker, if every tax to be introduced, for example, taxing in weight and others, is to be put on the same traders, we shall not help the economy from getting money. Right Honorable Speaker, in my communication with one of the taxpayers, traders downtown, who are my friends, they informed me another reason for their demonstration. Right Honorable Speaker, the properties of those people downtown are being taken by money lenders. And this House has been receiving, debating the State of the Nation address year in, year out. And one of the strategic bottlenecks, the high cost of credit, the turnaround time with in commercial banks, all those problems which force traders to go to money lenders and get money, even at 120% interest rate a year. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request this House that let the executive come up with the progress of the taxation policy, because it solves all the problems these support traders are talking about. Two, Right Honorable Speaker, I would request that this House, since we are undergoing the budgeting process, let us consider capitalizing public banks so that they can have enough money, so that they can have the capacity of controlling the market, the banking market. Right Honorable Speaker, in the region, in East Africa, Tanzania, public banks are leading the market by 27%. Kenya, public banks are leading the market by 21%. Here in Uganda, public banks are leading the market by only 7%. How are we going to control the interest rate? Bank of Uganda has done its work. it has cut the interest rate to, even when it cut to 6%, the interest rate remained at, of commercial banks, remained at 18%. Now it's at 22. And getting a loan, you have to spend 3 months processing a loan. This forces traders to go to money lenders at 120%. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg that we consider all these issues with the stakeholders to have the APEC to submit.
Thank you. Can I hear from the Minister? There was something raised by Leader of Opposition that you need to answer, including that.
Madam Speaker, on your communication regarding the traders, and also the same issue augmented by the Leader of Opposition on the strike of traders, mainly due to the issues of taxation, cost of working capital, the hawking of foreigners and wholesalers. We, as government, we are engaged now with the traders. As I speak, we are meeting the Honorable Mwebesa and Honorable Mbadi. I'm meeting with Honorable Kasaija and other leaders of the traders to come up with a solution to the issues being raised. And I want to request to this House that, Madam Speaker, we make a statement tomorrow on the progress that we are achieving. But I have no doubt, and should we make a breakthrough this afternoon, Madam Speaker, and the House allows, we'll make a statement this afternoon, but not later than tomorrow. But I have no doubt that this listening government and working NRM government will have a solution to the traders, because we do know how much this affects.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the clarification I'm seeking from the Minister, you see, the biggest challenge with the traders is the new system of tax collection, the Infinix. What do you, whatever you want to say it, you call it, but I've used the mine, which is simpler for me as per the traders. Madam Speaker, my prayer, and I'm seeking from the Minister, what do you lose if you first hold this system? A petition is brought, you got the Committee of Parliament, we see where the challenges are, and these people start working. But they will not continue working unless this tax system collection is still on. That's their major challenge. They are saying it's oppressing them. And you as a minister, they have petitioned you. I heard the Minister of Finance, Madam Speaker, raising the same thing. Let us first sort this tax collection system, and then afterwards, you sit, train them, and we come back and you have sanity in the traders. Otherwise, they will not continue unless this collection system is not sorted out. Because there are a lot of challenges. You cannot get someone riding a border, carrying salt. You ask him for a receipt from that what you are calling the tax collection system. Someone is not having 150 million business, easy returns. Is also put under the same. It's not registered under VAT. You are doing the same. So can we agree on our minister? And I know you can do that. Let us first hold it. Once you hold it, we can study. You meet the traders. Other than everything, unless the president comes out. If the president doesn't come, we shall not move. You are killing Mr. Museveni for nothing. He cannot do anything solvable. It's you to do that work.
Madam Speaker, those are the same solutions that we are looking at. And as I said, once the meeting is done, if there's a possibility to make a statement this afternoon, we will, but not later than tomorrow, we will update the leaders of the nation and the country on the progress we are making to resolve the issues of traders. But I have no doubt that we are going to resolve these issues.
Let's have these issues resolved, and let's debate the report when it comes. We cannot, whatever we are doing now is premature. Let's get a report. Honorable Ayo, Bedi Pin, honorable members, let's get that report. We had already given instructions to the minister. Let's get the report, and we'll debate that report and give our orders on that report. So when do we have the report this afternoon?
The best time would be tomorrow, so that we are able to present a concrete
So
way
we will
forward
have
on
the
this
report
matter.
tomorrow at 10.
Tomorrow at 10.
So let's have the report tomorrow at 10. We debate all those issues. And of course, when the issue of Honorable Javira on capitalization of local banks, which one will you capitalize and which one will you leave out? We only have a housing finance, which we have just recapitalized, and then we have Post Bank. You get it, eh? The other banks are private banks. Are you going to tell me you're going to recapitalize Centenary Bank? Let government have its own bank, recapitalize and work on the interest rates. Not looking at our bank, Centenary.
Madam
So
Speaker,
you need to handle the issue that has been raised by.
the cost of capital, including capitalization
Yes.
of UDC,
And
UDB.
and regulation of interest rates.
Okay. I only didn't get your guidance properly when you said being queen. I didn't get what you meant. So.
No, that is his other name. That is Ayo's name. Next. Yes, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I think it will be appropriate. Last time you gave us hope that the President is going to sit on this matter and completes about it. Now the Minister is here, is giving us hope that there is a meeting that is going on, which is good. That's good news because we want our traders to continue trading. Now, as you come back, Honourable Minister, we want you to come back with information to us. One, what is the cost this country incurs every day the traders close their shops in terms of tax collection? You must tell us, because you might come back here and you tell us we will resolve this next week. If you inform us the impact of everyday closure, what is the cost in terms of tax collection? What is the cost in terms of doing business in the country? Then lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, this would be the time where we would be seeing ministers, especially the Minister of Finance, Minister of Trade, sensitizing the public about what is going on. But Right Honourable Speaker, on TVs, on radios, they come, but the information they give out is not, especially to the trader in the village, in Kasanda. They don't know about IFRIS, and when it comes to closing of shops, they also ask, should we also close? So everyone is going to close without proper information. So I want to plead with you. This is the time, morning, evening, every minute, to inform the public what they need to know about what is going on and what government is doing about it. Thank you.
Honourable Minister, there is a lot of uncertainty on how much tax is being paid, because these people are saying they don't even know how much tax they are supposed to pay. We pass bills here, we are now going to pass again another tax bills. We pass these bills, people don't get to know how much tax they are paying and how it should be paid. So people need to know how much they are paying, so that they accept that, yes, we have to pay, whether we want it or not. Next.
Statement by Parliamentary Commissioner on a fact-finding visit to Mandela National Stadium, Namboole.
Following our fact-finding visit to Mandela National Stadium, Namboole, and in line with the earlier undertaking made by the Minister, I will allow an update to this House by the Commissioner, and that is pursuant to Rule 54, one of the rules of procedure. I now invite the Commissioner to give us the findings, since he had been there for some days.
Much obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I had thought initially that I would augment the debate outgoing on the subject matter, so that those who read the answer do not have their heads spin over how matters have been cascaded on the answered. But allow me to be brief, because a lot of what I had captured has actually found itself on the floor of Parliament by virtue of the Minister's submission and your recognition of the issues you saw observed. So I will be very brief. Secondly, it's an interim observatory statement following the urgency with which these matters captured the attention of the House, and therefore did not go into deeper investigations of what is and what is not at the facility. Right, Honourable Speaker, on Friday the 12th of April 2024, the House's attention was drawn to concerns that the Confederation of African Football (CAF) had, in an interim inspection report, made a declaration to the effect that the Ugandan major national stadium at Namboole was not ready to host international matches, given the inordinate delay in the completion of the ongoing renovation civil works on the complex. The Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Honourable Speaker directed the Minister of Sports and Finance to meet with urgency to resolve the impasse, and with directives to the Commission of Parliament to attend a stakeholders meeting at Namboole and report to the House. But Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the CAF report on the stadium that was laid on the floor by the Honourable Namboole had the net effect of cancellation of Uganda's opportunity of hosting major international football matches, including CHAN and CAF qualifiers in June 2024, and derailing our assessment for eligibility to host AFCON in 2027. The National Stadium was officially opened in 1997, right, Honourable Speaker, albeit at 75% completion. Until the ongoing renovations were commenced in March 2022 by the Ministry of Defence through a memorandum with the Ministry of Education and Sports, the stadium was never fully completed to full operation phase. Right, Honourable Speaker, assessment and costing of the renovation works. In the interim visit I made for 2 days, after assessment of the desired civil works for upgrade of the stadium to international standards by the Ministry of Works and Transport, together with the UPDF Engineering Brigade, the renovation works were phased in 3 stages. The short term, which is the ongoing, costing 94,049,239,595. Phase 2, which is the medium term intervention, to cost 84,996,761,256. Then the long term, which is the phase 3, costing 180,541,395,375, costing a whopping 287,587,396,226 to renovate the stadium to its entirety, Right, Honourable Speaker and colleagues, to international standards. Right, Honourable Speaker, government has so far been able to provide all the required finances for phase 1 at this stage, albeit with some delays, which is largely the responsible for the current crisis that necessitated the direct intervention of Parliament. Right, Honourable Speaker, response to major CAF concerns. In general terms, Right, Honourable Speaker and colleagues, all the issues raised by CAF were valid, and they are basic requirements for certifying a particular sports facility to host international events. During the 2 days acquaintance with the stadium, and its facilities, and the ongoing innovation works, I can confirm, Right Honourable Speaker, and attest to the fact that the remaining renovation works can be completed in a period of between 2 to 3 weeks, save for the delivery and installation of the imported floodlights that require the next 30 days, way beyond the prescribed time. But even for the floodlights, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, management and the contractor assured us that they have in place a temporary arrangement to install leased floodlights that will supply the required 2,000 lakhs until that will serve the purpose for the interim period as required by CAF. I wish to report to Parliament that the rest of the requirements on the CAF checklist, for some reason, were not inspected, including the smart stadium facilities that enable automated ticketing and seating. Many fittings are available in the stores of the stadium, and I was able to inspect them. We have advised the contractor in the meeting, Mr. Speaker, to utilize the appeal window, which the Minister mentioned, to install them in order to make the stadium ready for re-inspection, if that is an arrangement feasible and available. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I was shocked to inspect stores with materials gathering dust, and the CAF was demanding for the existence. Probably between the contractor and the supervisor, somebody slept on duty, and they put up in this mess and crisis, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, recommendations and way forward. Mr. Speaker, in the interim, the Minister for Sports must ensure that supervision of the contractor is enhanced, especially to ensure delivery of the outputs on the agreed timelines. In the meeting, Mr. Speaker, we agreed to a worker frame with very strict timelines of delivery and installation of what is available and being demanded. And somehow, probably it speaks to what the former president said, that if they were involved, some of these should be already in place because they're in stores and they're not probably considered as immediate and appropriately required. 2, the Minister should report to Parliament on a weekly basis on the progress made until the requirements are fulfilled and the right to host international matches is restored and confirmed by CAF. So even when they do not confirm, the Minister should report so that we can find what is appropriate for him and his team. 3, there is need for an interim audit, Right Honourable Speaker, of the funds so far released for the renovations for phase 1. The audit should not be limited to deployment of the funds, but the entire procurement arrangement, quality of work, and value for money before starting the second phase. Right Honourable Speaker, because this is an interim report, allow me to make this one last statement, which had not included my interim statement relating to the parking space. That's on record of Parliament. We were able to have a meeting with the owners of Pioneer Bus that own a scrapyard at the facility parking space. Of course, it's one of the impediments for approval of the stadium for eligibility to host matches. The key director there, Mr. Albert Muganga, was part of the meeting, together with the Ugandan Land Commission that offered the company a lease, which as a lawyer I considered out of legal space. The Office of the Attorney General was represented, and the Pioneer people have no problem with removing their scrap. Even by yesterday, they reported that they are looking for space. We gave them this week to remove their scrap from Namboole, such that compliance, at least for the parking facility, is restored. Right, Honourable Speaker, I hope when the matter of Pioneer comes to Parliament, Parliament will be very strict in investigating circumstances under which Pioneer Bus owners ended up at Namboole, acquiring a lease of 49 years as the Namboole land, and now they are in court requiring compensation of over 25 billion for business loss. Right Honourable Speaker. I hope Parliament will interest itself in how all this happened, such that we are able to save the taxpayer from this nugatory possible expense. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this crisis, in finality, should have a permanent lesson to all charged with management of public affairs to appreciate and understand the gravity of their actions and how they impact on public confidence, Right Honourable Speaker, in leadership in this country. I thank you. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much. The issue of ULC, first of all, the land belongs to government. That is Minister of Education and Minister of Finance. And Minister of Finance, according to the meeting that we had, the board said they were not consulted for ULC to be able to sublease their land. And as we stand now, the lease expired. So I want COSASE, this is under COSASE, to take it as a priority, to find out how did ULC sublease land which belonged to another entity without authorization. And I also want you to look at how money did they collect as NTR on the land that was subleased. And how did the buses come to be parked in that area as if it is a parking yard? Yes.
I want to thank you for your guidance on that. But still, in all we are talking about Namboole, we are leaving out the hotel at Namboole. And many people are dodging it. You remember, Madam Speaker, when we were in the Committee of Park, there were a lot of issues on that hotel. Someone had hired it privately. That hotel was meant for players. It has a swimming pool, fully fledged, a 3-star hotel. And as we talk about renovations, the issue of Namboole Hotel is always left out. And it's very key.
For your information,
Madam Speaker,
the hotel that we're investigating, we're in the same committee. The hotel has been renovated. It was gotten back from those people who had the hotel, and it is now in the possession of Namboole. It has 72 rooms.
most obliged, Madam Speaker. And I want here, whenever we are talking about Namboole, that the word, the hotel, because the component of that.
The hotel is there.
Yes. Otherwise,
the hotel,
it is
actually,
disappearing without hearing anything about it.
The hotel is available.
The way their assets were disposed is not known. But Madam Speaker, since you have stated, I agree with you, but you know, the issue
There are
of the hotel.
72 rooms in the hotel, and all of them were vacant. There is a restaurant. Everything is there. Yes, Haj. Honorable members, this report was informative. You've been debating on this. For me, all I want you people to do as a house is an issue of the bus. The buses. Yes. Before your boss.
Right Honourable Speaker, this question of the buses has become quixotic. Maybe the minister needs to guide us. It appears to me they are struggling with evicting the buses because of who the potential owner is. Maybe they need to let us know who is the owner of these buses so that we can prevail upon whoever this person is. Because what's so hard about getting them out of that place? Because one of the reasons, as we learned, CAF was saying, people don't have parking space for spectators. The parking space is being occupied by these buses, which, as you told us, Right Honourable Speaker, are scrap. So they are not of any use. Minister, what is so hard? What are you struggling with? Help us to help you so that we get to know who is the owner. Maybe we can prevail over whoever this is. If you are struggling with prevailing over who the owner of these buses are?
Well, first of all, Madam Speaker, thank you so much, and I would like to thank my brother, the leader of opposition. On the issue of pioneer buses, I want to thank the former leader of opposition, who is now a parliamentary commissioner, for the report. Madam Speaker, I welcome his report in good faith as government and as a minister responsible for sports. Now, on Namboole, on buses. First, as of now, I do not have any undertaking with the Pioneer Bus Company as a ministry and as a client of the, as the owner of the facility. Actually, even me, I owe that company money according to the available information I was given by the management of Namboole. No, me, I demand him, let me use that money. Okay, they owe me money. Me, because, but the board in its wisdom reached a point and said, for all intent and purpose, please get out your what? Your buses. Unfortunately, I would wish to request this August House to help me, to help the country. Have you, the Minister of Lands, are you getting, the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, like the former leader of opposition is here. Sort out the issues they have with Pioneer Easy Bus. For me, even now, I have asked the management of Namboole to go and secure a court order to have these buses leave my premise for purposes of me, purposes of me addressing the challenge which CAF has raised to me.
This was
That's
going
what I want to work
to
on.
help the minister.
Council.
Madam Speaker, you said that the Minister of Education was complaining that was not consulted when the lease was being given. I am wondering.
The management of Namboole together with the minister.
Yes, they are not consulted. That is okay. I am wondering what steps, ever since they saw those buses there, did they take to evict them? Because if you are not consulted, it simply means they were encroachers according to you. What did you do until now when this matter has come to this parliament to be debated? What did you do?
And Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I am ready to bring I went to court and I'm ready to lay before this August House documents of us Namboole going to court requesting for a court order to evict those buses. I went to court.
Honorable members, I want to guide it this way. I want to guide it this way. Honorable members, I want to guide the House this way. The consultant. Whom did you say is a consultant of your project?
A consultant is the Minister of Works, Transport, and Minister of Works and Transport.
What is the role of the Federation?
Madam Speaker, the Federation is the one which is charged with the responsibility of managing football across Uganda. That's their role.
In this case, in Namboole?
In Namboole?
Yes.
They are advisory. That's it, and we have been working with them in terms of advisory. That's their role. Because it's a government project, we work with them in terms of advisory.
Honorable member, Honorable Minister, much as their role is advisory, they are responsible for football in the country. Maybe if you had involved them, you would have not got all this. Because what you have found out not to be there is there. But it has not been fixed. Maybe because you did not consult. So what you needed to do, as the report, as the commissioner has said, that you need to make use of these people to advise you.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, colleagues. Madam Speaker, I have not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times involved the Federation on as far as the renovation of that stadium is concerned. And the good thing, Madam Speaker, I have evidence. It might not be Engineer Moses Magogo, but I have correspondent. He's the president. I have correspondent to that effect. For him, he's big like I do. But I have that evidence.
He's not big.
No, he's a federation president.
No, you're a minister. You're a minister. The problem, Honorable Guang, the way you want to deal with the FUFA president, you want to deal in that relationship of in-laws. Which do not work.
I confirm he's my in-law. Madam Speaker, that one I confirm for the record. That's true.
Now, can you now go official? Can you go official for the good of this country?
Madam Speaker, most obliged. If you want me to go official, I can still confirm.
There's a motion.
I have been communicating with him.
There's a motion. There's a motion.
Before the motion.
Yes, information.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, to undertake these very serious projects like the civil engineering projects, advisory is optional. These are technical issues. A supervisor is appointed, and it is indeed true we have been called into meetings and we have advised. But advice is optionally taken or not taken. I think the most important point here that we are going into a phase of sports facility construction. It would only be important for this August House to guide going forward that let it be a mandatory requirement that when these projects are undertaken, it is not an option, but a requirement that, that the Federation technically provides this information as required.
Motion. Motion. There's a motion.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Semuju was alluding to, actually it was you, who was talking about the ugly situation. Ugly situation. Arising out of the situation that occurred in the presentation of the former president and the minister. Right Honourable Speaker, it's very apparent that there is a fundamental problem between the ministry and federations. As we speak now, we are talking about FUFA, but this goes beyond FUFA. Right Honourable Speaker, I will inform you, as we shall indicate later on, I and Honourable Andrew, that Mandela National Stadium is also going to host the Rugby Africa World Cup. So it goes beyond that. I'm laying a background, a problem with my young brother. I therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, want to move a motion that this August House enjoins the Minister of Education to ensure that in the construction of sports facilities, sports federations become supervisors and consultants going forward. I beg to move.
Is that seconded?
Can I seek guidance from Attorney General as far as that move is concerned? The reason why I'm bringing this, colleagues, first for the record, honorable colleagues, my ministry works in constant touch with all federations through the National Council of Sports. Number two, on as far as the renovation of Namboole and other sports facilities are concerned, and I'm ready again to challenge my brother engineer here. The good thing, I speak because I have facts. His office did facilitate a meeting between the Minister of Education and the Federation of Uganda Football Association. On as far as AFCON is concerned, we came up with a document, which document defines the roles of each party in as far as AFCON is concerned. So when we come here and we say we are not working together, I get beaten up. Number two, matters of construction are matters of advice from Attorney General, the role of a supervisor, a role of a consultant, the role of a client. I want to request Parliament, allow government to run its duty. We will continue to work with these federations as it has been the case. I thank you.
Honorable members, we have a law that we've just passed, Unfortunately, the minister has not brought the regulations. But secondly, in the law that we have, the federations through National Council of Sports, with the National Council of Sports and Ministry of Works are advisors to the projects that concern sports. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. You're not doing them a favor. They're actually doing you a favor and working for these Ugandans. Let them be the advisors of what should be done. Is it a cost? Does it have a financial implication? It doesn't. So we should make sure that the federations advise on what should be done. Yes.
Madam Speaker, as a way of procedure, I want to advise, if you can allow the Honorable Gwang.
Madam Speaker, I want to confirm they do advise. That's true. We work with them.
I am on the floor. Madam Speaker.
Bring me a letter which you have written to them and ask them that I want you to be the advisors of the project that is ongoing. Please lay the letter tomorrow.
Speaker, let me first say.
Speaker, you had given me the floor. The Minister of Sports is grabbing it. As a way of procedure, Madam Speaker, there is the legal and administrative issue of handling this matter. I want to request you, Madam Speaker, to ask the Honorable Peter Ogwang, the FUFA president, will take advantage of his presence here. Maybe with the help of the government whip, to go and sort out this matter and come cleaner like they are looking now. They can go and sit and see what role can FUFA play, and then they return and tell Parliament that we have agreed as follows. Otherwise, they are bogging down work of Parliament, discussing details that are never discussed in Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, there is nothing private here. You pass the law in this house, and whatever is in the law must be implemented. That is one. Two, the advisors are advisors. I want evidence to that effect that you appointed, whom you appointed as advisor, a consultant, and so on. Two, I want you to have the scrap. The scrap that is at Namboole, out of Namboole, using the legal mechanism. Can we have that scrap out of that place? 3, COSASE should thoroughly investigate ULC on how they got that sublease, how much money they got, where they declared it from. Okay? I'm talking to the Vice Chair of COSASE.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
And we need to know how much money has been collected, and even now, when the lease has expired, how much money Mandela National Stadium is demanding from Pioneer buses.
Yes. Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to thank you for the guidance you've given. I want to begin from the latter. The lease expired. The 5 years, which have been given.
I have already made a ruling.
Number 2, Madam Speaker, I am going to lay on this table.
You come back and lay tomorrow.
Madam Speaker, I want to say this, so because the documents I'm going to lay on table should be on record. Number 1, I have a document which I'm going to lay on table, my communication with the Federation. Number 2.
Appointing them?
Not appointing them.
Okay.
Because I don't have powers to appoint them to be the official what? The official supervisors of the works in Namboole. But I have a document which we sat in a meeting in a retreat, which we agreed on the roles and responsibilities of each party, which we are working towards achieving it. I am going to bring it and lay on table. I thank you.
Yes, Laura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out from the Honorable Mpuga in his work as he was looking at the stadium, whether he took into consideration the fact that the stadium has been built to international standards in regards to accessibility for both spectators and users of the stadium, and the parking that you talked about. Did you take notice of those things? Because I'm sure that you know that we have an international and national obligation to make sure that the stadium is fully accessible to people who are like me. Thank you.
Laura, maybe just before Honorable Mpuga comes in, we raised an issue of a ramp.
Madam Speaker, it's not just about a ramp.
Listen.
Accessibility has standards.
Listen, we raised an issue of a ramp, and the engineer said it was beyond a ramp, and they were working on it.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The Honourable Member is right in asking that question. One of the statements I make in my brief statement is the fact that they have installed smart stadium facilities, meaning that the stadium can be accessed without hassle, because they have installed access points from all areas. In one of the challenge areas, CAF was asking for a lift in particular spaces, and the contractor and the supervisor showed us a space where they're going to put a lift where need be. And it's one of the things they must comply with. The beauty is that the lift at that kind of stadium is not a comprehensive engineering work. They can put an interim lift for compliance in the interim. So your question is valid. The smart stadium facility is an access tech facility, where from where you're seated, you can buy a ticket. When you reach the stadium, you simply swipe, your seat will be indicated, and your gate, and therefore no hassling at entry. It was tested by the Honourable Speaker, and it was proven it works. It's part of the security and ease of access, as well as making it easier for spectators to enjoy the facility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In the VIP gallery this morning, we have Honorable Mutuluza Peter. You're most welcome. Former Member of Parliament of Maokota, North Impigi District. You're most welcome. Former. We also have in the VIP gallery Honorable Aleper Simon Peter, former Member of Parliament of Moroto Municipality, and is also a SEC member. He's here to SEC. Even if one kid can of DFCU. Thank you so much. Honorable members, I have guests who have been sitting here from 6 waiting for their petition. How I wish we could first dispose the petition. You see this Munyarwanda, how he's behaving. Have you seen him?
Madam Speaker, I'm just seeking for your indulgence. We have handled a lot of issues on Namboole, but I'm seeking through Madam Speaker, the Minister, to provide regulations. Because we've passed the law, but it cannot be put into practice without the regulations. All the challenges we are having here are because of the regulations. This Namboole must be taken by National Council of Sports. But without regulations, you can't move. And many laws have been passed here. And there's a delay, or latches, in bringing regulations, which makes them ineffective. And even when it comes to court, there comes challenges with the judges. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank Parliament for helping us to have the Sports Act or the sports law in place. It is true, as far as we at the Ministry of Education are concerned, we have, as constituted a technical team which is leading the process of the formulation of the regulations. And I want to say this. Resources notwithstanding, they are one of the impediments which are affecting the final delivery of the regulations. I thank you, but we are working within our main budget or our budget to ensure that the process of regulations being in place is addressed. I thank you.
Thank you so much. As we start with the petition, because it won't take long, rugby team, kindly bear with us. We are coming back to you in a short while.
Item 4, sorry, presentation of a petition of the Council for Abavandimwe on the alleged infringements by government on the rights of Banaranda who are born and raised in Uganda.
Honorable members, petitions are avenues of how citizens of a country get remedies from Parliament on specific matters. To institutionalize this avenue, the citizens engage Parliament under Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure and the details of the structures of the petitions. The Honorable Member of Parliament, who is representing the Banaranda in the House, will now read the petition, and that is Honorable Seungo Joseph Gonzaga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And as I said last time, there are very many inside here hovering and rotating, all Banyarwanda. But Madam Speaker, a petition, I'm moving under Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. Madam Speaker, the petitioners of the Council for Bavandimwe, a duly registered association representing the Ugandan Banyarwanda community, presented on their behalf by I, Seung Joseph Gonzaga, MP Kalunga County West, Member of Parliament, showeth and states as follows. 1, that the Banyarwanda feature in the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as one of the indigenous tribes of Uganda. 2, that the Uganda Banyarwanda became an indigenous tribe following the annexation of Rwanda's border territories, Kisoro, Chigezi, Ndorwa, among others. Madam Speaker, that the 1926 colonial population census found a sizable population of Banyarwanda living within the boundaries of Uganda. 4, that the Ugandan Banyarwanda are facing serious citizenship rights violations at the hands of both the National Migration Registration Authority, NIRA, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs Immigration Department, where they are denied national identity cards and passports. 5, that many Uganda Banyarwanda have returned from abroad for either study or work to renew their passports, acquire or renew their national identity cards, and have been told that they do not qualify to be Ugandan passport or national identity card holders. At times, this has led to loss of jobs or study opportunities for these persons. 6, Madam Speaker, that the Ugandan Banyarwanda have not only been denied passports and national identity cards, but the previous passports held by these persons have been confiscated, which has caused pain, suffering, and psychological torture, and has exposed them to abuse and violation and denied them their right of association. 7, Madam Speaker, the Ugandan Banyarwanda have been denied opportunities for employment both in Uganda and abroad, since they are unable to provide national identity cards or passports to confirm and substantiate their identity as Ugandans. 8, that not only have the Uganda Banyarwanda been denied employment opportunities, but they are unable to open bank accounts, register companies, register phone lines in their names, which is denying them a right of livelihood and also costing the country revenue from the foreign remittances. 9, Madam Speaker, that some Ugandan Banyarwanda whose passports expired are stuck in the Middle East and other countries around the world without any assistance from the Ugandan foreign missions and embassies because they are deemed not to be Ugandan citizens. Madam Speaker, 10, that some of the Ugandan Banaranda have been unable to travel abroad for better or specialized health care, which has cost them their lives. 11, that despite their meeting with the Minister of Internal Affairs and the Director, Immigration, and several other attempts to meet the officials from National Immigration Registration Authority and the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Immigration Department, nothing has been done to address this plight. Now, therefore, your humble petitioners pray that, 1, Madam Speaker, the relevant committee of Parliament investigates the segregation and violation of the rights of the Ugandan Banyarwanda in Uganda and makes a report. 2, the House urges the National Immigration Registration Authority, NIRA, and Ministry of Internal Affairs, Immigration Department, to issue national identity cards and passports to the Ugandan Banyarwanda based on their recognition by the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as a tribe in Uganda. And your humble petitioners are duly bound and will ever pray. And here too, your humble petitioners have appended their signature, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, the representative and the honorable member of Parliament of
Madam Speaker, I was
honorable members. They don't debate on a petition.
no, yeah, I was only concluding.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, and also to make records clear, we are seriously saying that the segregation is on within Ministry of Internal Affairs, not within fellow Ugandans. So when they come, and I want to correct this because in Uganda these days, everybody is an editor in the social media. So we are complaining about segregation in the Ministry of Internal Affairs and migration. Not, otherwise, the rest we are enjoying. That's why I'm a member of Parliament. And I know members will take this in good faith. And lastly, Madam Speaker, it is very painful that someone is getting a letter from LC1 chairman, he gets clearance from LC2 chairman, LC3, he pays money for the passport, and at the end of the day, is thrown out, denied the passport. So we pray that this petition finds your good wisdom, Madam Speaker, and the interest that is handled as we direct. I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, honorable members. Pursuant to Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure, the petition stands. Please lay.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you. And the petitioners have appended their signatures. Honorable Tebandeke, the Rules of Procedure as per Rule 30 does not allow a petition to be debated upon. If you have any issue in regard to the petition that has been laid on table, you go to the committee and present your issues. Honorable members, pursuant to Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure, the petition stands referred to the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. And the time frame of 45 days as per Rule 3010 stands. So the petition is yes, but I've already referred it, okay?
Item 3.
He has a procedural issue.
Madam Speaker, I am alive to Rule 30 and your guidance. While on the floor, I sought clarification, but I could raise it as a procedural issue. Your referral notwithstanding. Some time back, I read in the papers that there was a community before courts over an issue related to this. And I just wanted to find out whether the sub judice rule would not catch us with this referral. That was the clarification I wanted to seek, so that we are very clear on it.
The sub judice rule will not suffice. It is to the pronouncement of the speaker that it will do, but it won't. So let the petition go to the committee.
Item
Next
3,
item.
motion for resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the government of Uganda for the successful bid to host the 2024 and 2025 editions of the Rugby Africa Cup.
Honorable members, and furtherance to our earlier deliberations on sports infrastructure, recently the Rugby Africa accepted to bid to host 2024 and 2025 edition of Rugby Africa Cup at Mandela National Stadium. I now invite Honorable Jock Andrew Olanya, who doubles to be the Vice President of Rugby Union, to move a motion. Honorable Andrew. Yes.
Because I want the mover to move this motion just because of him. But I am uncomfortable with the precedent this parliament is setting. So when we win a bid to host, so we come here and thank a government. We pay tribute. So this is the first time that we now want to thank a government for winning a bid to pay tribute. I actually thought they should be doing this every day. And we can thank a team for representing and winning for Uganda. I fear that we are setting a very dangerous precedent. But because of the move of Madam Speaker, I am reluctant.
Clarification. Then Patrick.
Right, Honourable Speaker, for purposes of context, the Uganda Rugby Union, that was at the forefront of ensuring that Uganda wins this bid, and which they successfully did, and which ideally should be the context of this motion. I'm giving context because somebody is raising an issue. Yes, somebody raised an issue. Right, Honourable Speaker.
It's an order.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I was so constrained to raise a point of order against the Honourable Osman Basalira because he's my MP from Bujiri. However, Right Honourable Speaker, the point of order I'm raising is that the Honourable Osman Basalira is the second of this motion. Is it in order for him to seek clarification on the same motion that is supposed to second, Right Honourable Speaker?
Honourable Silwanya, are we still in the same house? Did you understand what the honourable member was saying? He's not seeking clarification. No, he's not seeking clarification. He's clarifying to the person who thought for clarification. Honourable Government Chief Whip. Patrick, you'll come.
Right Honourable Speaker, it is important for this House to recognize the fact that a bid is a competition among countries within Africa. Not only Uganda applied, many African countries applied, and Uganda won the bid to host this competition. And therefore, this is a vote of confidence in the Republic of Uganda. And it is befitting that through this House, fellow countrymen and women get to know that the Rugby Union of Uganda and the Republic of Uganda and the National Resistance Movement will be hosting a competition at a continental level. So that is the gist, because the bid is a competition and our nation won.
Very well. Speaker. Well done, well done. Madam Speaker,
Yes, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, when you read the way the motion is stated, Right Honourable Speaker, the motion is to pay tribute to government. If the motion was to pay tribute to the Rugby Union, we would be very comfortable, even for Andrew to be the one to present it. But if it is paying tribute to government, when the government ministers are here, then we really don't understand why it is crafted this way when it is Andrew, the vice president of the rugby. Let's change the motion, Right Honourable Speaker, so that Andrew fits in well. We shouldn't appear as if we want to oppose the Rugby Union. Thank you.
Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I have listened to my friend in Samba and my brother, Honourable Semuju. If I have understood their concern, they are not comfortable that the motion is to pay tribute to government. But you see, once the motion is tabled, it will be put to vote. We will vote, and you will make your nay heard, and we will make our yes heard. And then the Speaker will determine whether the motion to pay tribute to government passes or does not. So I subsequently pray that we proceed with this motion.
And I want, honourable members, what is important in this motion are the prayers. That is what is important in the motion. Because when you look at the motion, the prayers, Parliament collectively congratulates. Where does this rugby club belong to? Doesn't it belong to the government of Uganda? Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to provide information again that whereas it is the Rugby Union that wins the bid, we cannot host without the government guaranteeing. So the Chief Whip guided very well that this is a competition and Uganda is the winner. So the entity which is presenting us is the Rugby Union. But without government guaranteeing, then you cannot have this bid coming to Uganda. I beg to submit.
Honourable members, just like AFCON, it is FUFA that won. But who guaranteed it? It was government of Uganda that guaranteed and even signed the documents of guarantee. Andrew? You know, when you hear Honourable Semuju talking like that, he's about to join government.
I would like to thank you, Madam Speaker, and also thank my elder, Honourable Semuju Nganda, for allowing me to proceed. Madam Speaker, for clarity, this motion is moved under Rule 56 of our Rules of Procedure. Whereas Objective 17 of the National Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy under the Constitutional Republic of Uganda mandates the state to promote recreation and sports for the citizens of Uganda. And whereas the Africa Cup is a 2-year rugby union tournament involving the top 16 African nations organized by Rugby Africa, the administrative body for rugby union in Africa, under the authority of World Rugby, which is the world governing body of rugby union. Recalling that the Africa Cup tournament was first held in 2000 with 5 teams taking part in the event and has been held ever since, with the last tournament being held in 2022. Aware that the Uganda Rugby Union, which is the body responsible for the management and development of rugby union in Uganda, submitted a bid to host the Rugby Africa Cup for the years 2024 and 2025 on behalf of the Republic of Uganda, noting that the bid was unanimously accepted by Rugby Africa and endorsed by World Rugby, giving Uganda the opportunity to host 2024 and 2025 editions of the Rugby Africa Cup. Further noting that by hosting the Africa Cup in 2025, Uganda will also earn the right to host the Rugby World Cup qualifiers for the first time in the country's history, thereby improving Uganda's chances of qualifying for the Rugby World Cup based on home advantage and also the recent form of the Ugandan teams. Cognizant of the benefits that will accrue to Uganda for hosting the 2024 and 2025 editions of the Rugby Africa Cup, including raising the global profile of Uganda, increased investment in sports infrastructure and social services, increased revenue and stimulating sport development as an economic and community development tool. Now therefore be it resolved that Parliament collectively congratulates the government of Uganda for the successful bid to host the Rugby Africa Cup for the years 2022 and 2025, 2024 and 2025. 2. Parliament collectively congratulates Uganda Rugby Union for their contribution towards a successful bid to host Rugby Africa Cup for the years 2024 and 2025. And finally, that Parliament urges government to provide $2,546,276,000 to the Uganda Rugby Union for the preparations to host the Rugby Africa Cup slated to run from July 18th to July 29th, 2024 for this year's edition. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Andrew, for the motion. Is the motion seconded by Professor Mushemesa, by Tony? Tony, what is your other name? Tony, by Afande, Bedpin, by leader of opposition, by government, by the Prime Minister, government chief whip, by trade, by Karamoja Affairs, by sports, by tourism, Karamoja, local government, chairperson, vice budget, by president of FUFA, by Honorable Alan Sewanyana, Alan Nakaseke, Patrick, you're supporting? Isaiah, Mayanifa, Simbwa, the whole house has supported this, including Ivan Kanyike. Would you love to speak to your motion? You have an amendment? Speak to your motion, then we have it seconded.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, on the 28th of October 2023, Uganda, through the Uganda Rugby Union, expressed its interest in hosting the Africa Cup for 2 consecutive years. That is 2024 and 2025. This presented an unprecedented opportunity for Uganda to host the most elite rugby event in Africa for 2 consecutive years. In the edition of 2025, the tournament will also double as the qualifier for the Rugby World Cup that will be held in Australia in 2027. On the 19th of February 2024, Rugby Africa, after ratification and review of Uganda's readiness by the World Rugby, awarded the hosting rights for 2024 and 2025 editions of Africa Cup to Uganda, ahead of Tunisia and Namibia. The Africa Cup is the most prestigious 15th rugby tournament on the continent. I would like to take this opportunity to, on behalf of the Uganda Rugby Union, to extend our appreciation to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Minister of Education and Sports, World Rugby and Rugby Africa. I would also like to extend our appreciation to you, Right Honourable Speaker, and this Parliament for committing your heart to the sports subsector in this country. I would like to thank the Minister Minister of State for Education and Sports in charge of sports, the National Council of Sports, the Ugandan Rugby Union that is here, and all the stakeholders who made this bid possible. This is not just about rugby, but an opportunity for us to showcase the beauty of Uganda to the rest of the world. Many tourists are expected to come to Uganda, which is known for its hospitality, the cultural diversity, and the breathtaking tourism destinations. This year's Africa Cup edition will run from the 18th to the 29th of July in Kampala, 2024. We extend appreciation to the Minister of Education and Sports for making Namboole ready to host this rugby tournament in July. The 8 participating countries in order of continental ranking are Namibia, Kenya, Algeria, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Burkina Faso. Uganda, that is currently ranked 5th in Africa, is one of the forerunners in not only winning this year's edition, but also qualifying for the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia. Not only because of the home advantage, but also because of strategic initiatives that the Rugby Union has undertaken. For instance, Uganda Rugby Union has signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with the Blue Bulls Harlequins in South Africa for strategic high-performance residential training of selected national team players. We also make a use of the Tier 8 high-altitude training facilities in Sebei under the Ministry of Education and Sports. The Uganda Rugby Union is committed to the realization and delivery of the Africa Cup to showcase our country, while at the same time leveraging the existing infrastructure and the home advantage to not only lift the Africa Cup, but also to qualify for the Rugby World Cup. This year's edition of the Africa Cup, however, requires funding to the tune of Uganda shillings 2,546,276,000 to cater for the cost of accommodation, security, transport, medical, venue preparation, facilitation for official and liaison officers, and other incidental expenses. Further support will be required in 2025 as Uganda hosts its inaugural World Cup qualifiers. We therefore request the indulgence of this august House to ensure the successful hosting of the tournament. I beg to move.
Thank you so much, Honorable Andrew. Seconder, Honorable Asmani.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you, and I stand to second the motion moved by my brother. Right Honourable Speaker, rugby as a sport is one area where we can take advantage as a country. Increasingly, it is a developing sport and a very lucrative sport. Right Honourable Speaker, if you look around, even in Africa here, some of the highest paid sports personalities are in rugby. Cheslin Kolbe of South Africa, Right Honourable Speaker, in a season is earning about 1.1 million US dollars. Right Honourable Speaker, those of us who play rugby, a season has 10 months. If you look at the GDP of this country, Right Honourable Speaker, even the best agriculturist, commercial farmer, will not earn 1 million US dollars in a year. Globally, the highest paid player in rugby, Finn Russell from Scotland, is earning about 1.3 million US dollars. That's about 5 billion in a season, which is about 10 months. Right Honourable Speaker, by us winning the bid to host the rugby tournament in this country, it is an opportunity for two things. Number one, obviously to continue to showcase the country after the Africa Cup bid, but also to an opportunity to popularize this sport. Right Honourable Speaker, as I will indicate when I'm presenting the report on sports and what happened in the games, even in the East African Interparliamentary Games, there is now a call to include rugby as one of the disciplines in the East Africa Interparliamentary Games. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to beseech colleagues to consider the prayers in the motion. Fortunately, unlike other sports, rugby is not a very expensive sport to run.
That's why even the figures therein are figures that by all stretch of imagination are manageable. I therefore beg to second the motion.
Thank you. Fufa? Boka?
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I want to add my voice to, first of all, thank the presenter of the motion and the seconder, and add my voice to congratulate the government of Uganda, the Uganda Rugby Union, for the opportunity to host the tournament in Uganda. Madam Speaker, as we congratulate the government and the union, rugby is perceived in this country as an elitist and centralized sports that's mainly played in urbanite communities. It's also my prayer, Madam Speaker, that the Ministry of Education and Sports, as well as the National Council of Sports and the Uganda Rugby Union, promotes rugby and makes it a sport that will be played in West Nile, in Karamoja, in Chigezi, in Rwenzori, and across the country. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we've talked about the investment in infrastructure, both hard and software, for promoting sports. It's also my prayer as we congratulate the Uganda Rugby Union and the government to invest in sports facilities across the country, including West Nile, where we have a stadium that has been developed through local initiatives. Not so far ago, there was a statement made on the floor of Parliament for the Ministry of Education and the National Sports Council to consider supporting the initiative taken by Engineer Joel Ita and his group to promote the facility in Arua so that Arua and West Nile will be able to host such events. I beg to move.
Professor?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. When the mover with the motion approached me to second the motion, I accepted, and I do accept to second the motion for both historical and economic reasons. Rugby is a very interesting game to participate in and even watch. 30 years ago, while at Makerere, I played rugby. I did not have the body mass at that time, but my skill was in the areas of speed, surprise, and superiority. And for that historical reason, because the game is very interesting, I support the motion. Secondly, Madam Speaker, one of the challenges we have to execute our budget in this country is the cash flow. So any activity that brings in income to our economy should be welcome. This African Cup is going to attract investors. It is going to attract making networks in the area of trade and in many other areas of friendship. So the investment is worth it. This is an area we can say it has a high investment return. So I request honorable members to support the motion and even the prayer of investing 2.5 billion be accepted. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bayo, Honorable Santa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to thank Honorable Andrew Joke for presenting the motion on behalf of the Rugby Union. Right Honorable Speaker, rugby is one game that has not taken shape in this country. And in most cases, it is played around Kampala. Even in schools, rugby is not played. Now, supporting this motion by government accepting this time to host the African Rugby Edition is one opportunity for rugby to showcase and the whole country to begin to take interest in supporting the game of rugby, among others. But, Right Honorable Speaker, the budget of the ministry under sports rose from 17 billion to 48. Unfortunately, in the proposal this year, the budget has been reduced to 43 billion. Now, when rugby is requesting for additional funding for them to host this year's tournament, I think this is now where this parliament should concentrate on to ensure that money is released so that we can host without a lot of hurdles. You have just this week pushed Minister of Finance to provide money for completion of Namboole. So as Parliament, we are going to endorse the motion to ensure that money is provided. But, Right Honorable Speaker, I used not to like the game of rugby. I used to fear it. But when I was invited 2 or 3 times, I started even following it on television because it's a smart and interesting game. But when I attended one game where Uganda was qualifying for World Cup with the Honorable Government Chief Whip, Honorable Dennis Amson Obua, at Lugogo Ground, Right Honorable Speaker, it is so happened that it rained. And the whole ground at Chadondo Rugby Ground was flooded, and we are hosting an African game. When the ground was flooded, they had to run all over the place looking for water pumps to start pumping water from the field physically when we were all seeing. Unfortunately, again, the pump failed. So I asked the Right Honorable, or I asked Honorable Obua, who was then the Minister of Sports. I asked him, I said, Honorable Obua, you are the minister in charge of sports. Is this the match you are doing to rugby in the country as a minister? Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Obua did not answer me. But the only thing he told me was that we must make sure that the facility for rugby is built in the country. You handed over to Honorable Ogwang. Honorable Ogwang, we are not going to continue using Namboole, which is for football, which is for so many. We must have a ground for rugby built in the country. That is when our commitment as government is going to support this sport. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I second the motion.
Thank you, Santa. Santa Kelly Matchbox.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me opportunity to second the motion. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the government of Uganda and the Rugby Union for really successfully winning the bid to host the 2024 and 2025 edition of the Rugby African Cup. Madam Speaker, why I thank the government is because of the good environment that we have as a government. That's why other countries have really put confidence in us to host this game, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion noted that our bid was unanimously accepted by the Rugby Africa and endorsed by the World Rugby. Madam Speaker, this is a trust that other countries, the whole continent, has in Uganda. And Madam Speaker, this signifies progress. It also signifies the confidence that we have been talking about towards the country Uganda. But most importantly, Madam Speaker, the rugby has been regularly a male-dominated game worldwide. But the Lady Cranes recently won a gold medal in all African Games in Accra, Ghana. Just after winning the Safari 7 in Nairobi last year, ranking them #1 in Africa and #4 in the world. Madam Speaker, this is no mean achievement by the Ugandan ladies on the stage of rugby. And Madam Speaker, the team is set to represent Uganda in Poland, Madrid, and Monaco, and in the World Challenger Series in the next 2 months, making them very good ambassador of our country. Madam Speaker, many times our names are mentioned or known for many bad reasons. For example, corruption. Secondly, human rights abuse. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, our names are also mentioned in other wrong way, Madam Speaker. But in rugby, we find our flag being held high in a good way, and this can sanitize the country that we all want to enjoy. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, the rugby union have been within their own structures in Uganda supporting the tournament. But it's my humble consideration and prayer that the government of Uganda this time round come to support the team and the game which will be played here. And Madam Speaker, I want to note this, that most of our players are coming from the north and from the east, these girls. What about other areas of the country? For example, in Western Uganda, we have very strong young girls there, the Bachiga, are known for their strength. Madam Speaker, it only needs us to tap the talents which is enormous in this country. And through supporting this game, Madam Speaker, finally, Madam Speaker, I want to urge government, and particularly the Ministry of Finance. I'm looking around, I don't see them. Many times, money is not released timely, Madam Speaker. And it's my humble request that this time round, the Ministry of Finance give the rugby team money so that this game and this milestone, Madam Speaker, that is raising our flag high, be realized with the rugby team.
Thank you, thank you. On top of the Bachiga, we also have the Banyankole. Yes. Kelly?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to add my voice to thank the mover of the motion for the motion. Right Honorable Speaker, aware that the Rugby Cup tournament was first held in 2002. By hosting this tournament for 2024-2025, will make the rugby tournament to be very popular in Uganda. I was one of the students who used to play rugby when I was in my secondary school in St. Catherine in Lira. So that means most of the school in Uganda does not play this rugby. So as one of the students who used to play rugby, and is one of the game that is very interesting, I will request this parliament, first of all, to include the rugby game in East African game that we usually play in this parliament. And I will also be one of the people that will contribute. I will also be one of the people that will participate in playing rugby and represent Uganda at large. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Matchbox.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand in support of the motion.
Honorable members, you're going to speak 2 minutes.
I support the motion. Right Honorable Speaker, sports is sports, and sports in any form must be supported.
There's a procedural matter.
Madam Speaker.
See, whenever we go for East African Games, the chairmaster is Honorable Semujo. Chairmaster. Because for him, he doesn't even know how to hold a ball.
Madam Speaker, I have been playing number 7 in the parliamentary team, even scoring. Yeah, the Honorable Gwanga knows it.
Hey, Honorable
Madam
you
Speaker,
confirm everything.
No, I want to confirm and should be on record that Honorable Semujo used to be our number 7. The lead striker is here.
Right Honorable Speaker, I also stand to confirm that of recent,
Only that he had a minor injury, but he's our reliable number 7. On record, he has made many assists through crosses, and he has won many duels for me to score. So we appreciate the contribution of the Honorable Semuja.
For me, as the presiding officer,
Yes.
all the international games that members go for, he always goes as the chairperson of the cheering chairperson. And you've done a good job. You've done a good job.
Madam Speaker, the biggest player in this motion is being submerged by the debate. That's
No.
a procedural issue.
No.
We have 2 months to go.
Listen.
If you can allow me to raise it.
Listen. I know what you want to raise. And I am going to ask the Minister of Education to make a commitment because it has an effect on Article 93 of the Constitution.
Can I now raise it?
Okay.
So the biggest prayer I see here is that the Federation is pleading for 2.5 billion to host a tournament that is 2 months away. I thought, Madam Speaker, that government will immediately help us deal with that. Because the other day we had the rugby team stranded in Rwanda. It had to be aided by General Muhoozi, who sent 90 million. I mean basketball. So can Madam Speaker, before that matter is submerged by the debate of thanking the government and His Excellency and his wife, who is the Minister for Education, can the government help us deal with a specific issue to allow the team prepare? Because 2 months to go, they are pleading for money.
Thank you. So let's first thank General Muhoozi for supporting the club in Rwanda. Join me in thanking General Muhoozi because it has come from Honorable Semuju.
Right, Honorable Speaker, as I was saying, that we should support all forms of sports in this country, since mostly it's the young people who are involved and their energies they're putting into these sports. I would want to request the government that we should not allow it to come to waste. Now, when it comes to sports, Right Honorable Speaker, as a culture in this house, when we had our East African Parliamentary Sports in 2022, and even last year, a report has never been laid on the floor. So I would request that if the chairperson of East African Parliamentary Sports could also bring for us a report regarding on our performances of last year and the other year. Second, Right Honorable Speaker, when we were talking about sports, we talked of, government was talking about construction of other stadiums. But we remember in Njikuru Dorcas, who came from West Nile, has been a golden girl. And His Excellency, during her time, promised that West Nile will have a stadium under the names of Njikuru Dorcas. Until date, it has not even surfaced anywhere. So I also want, as we talk about rugby, I support the 2 billion that Parliament should support, but also we include Njikuru Dorcas too as well, when the time comes, because the ministry has only been talking about other stadium, but forgetting about the Njikuru Stadium that has been there right from day one when she was a golden girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister. Take note. And then can we have our medals, our trophies laid on table tomorrow from the chairman?
The medals, I'm seeing that you've guided that the chairman is looking at me with bold eyes. Mr. Chairman, that is yours.
Yes.
Right on, Speaker. The report of the recently concluded games in Kigali is ready. The medals are available, both individual and group. And with your indulgence, they can be presented actually tomorrow. In Juba, Right Honourable Speaker, the reason the report was not presented is that up to now, the committee on discipline has never concluded some complaints up to now. So, Honorable Mwijuche here, fortunately, is a member. Up to now, there are, and we don't even know who won what in Juba, in some disciplines. So it's the reason why, Right Honourable Speaker, we could not present an incomplete report when some results are missing. But fortunately, some of the committee members of the Special Committee are here. They might at an appropriate time have to answer why they slept on the job, Right Honourable Speaker.
So now we'll have the one of Kigali first, as we wait to hear from the disciplinary committee of South Sudan. Isaiah.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable
Alan.
Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, rugby is a very growing game. It has been widely appreciated both in the primary and secondary schools. And if you look at the recently concluded zonal games for secondary schools, you will see all schools in regions have been effectively participating in them. And many schools actually have embraced rugby. The biggest challenge is that most of these institutions regionally don't have the standard required playgrounds. Because rugby is a very delicate and sophisticated game, it involves use of the whole body parts to play it. It is a physical game. It stimulates the whole body, which is very good. But yes, it has so. Maybe for more clarification to you.
Honorable members.
Yes.
Honorable members. Honorable members. You allow Honorable Zaya. Just know that he's a Mugisu.
Maybe for the purposes of record, Madam Speaker, if you look at the mental capabilities of the children who participate in rugby and academic performance in schools is actually very good. It is very good on record. You can go and check that. The biggest challenge, Madam Speaker, that most of these institutions don't have regional playgrounds. Because the game is very delicate, it requires a very soft ground, more or less like the capital of this parliament. It requires a playground which is well drained. It doesn't require a playground with any minimal stones. That's why, Madam Speaker, I'm in agreement with the support of the 2 billion shillings to go and improve on the existing playgrounds. Because I remember in 2016-2017, we had the National League of Rugby and it was postponed during heavy rains. And more so that we still have the heavy rains now, there's no doubt that if the conditions are the same with the existing rugby grounds in Katavi, here in Namboole, the one of Makele, the one of UCU, the few ones we have, if the conditions are the same, then you may not be able to host. But my appeal to the Right Honourable Minister, that more so that now primary schools and secondary schools have come on board to embrace and participate in rugby. In your planning, do whatever it takes to ensure that at least zonal grounds are put up in every region of Uganda to encourage institutions to come up and participate. Because that's why we can get the younger players who can come on board to play rugby for this country. And Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, somebody talked about the Western not participating. If you go to the national team, which go for Fiasa Games, always for East Africa, to represent this country, you get even children from all other parts of the country, including Western Uganda is on board. What is only important is to facilitate the ministry to ensure the playgrounds and other logistics are in place to support those institutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, Achara Alan.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the government of the Republic of Uganda for having won the bid, but also putting into consideration, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, that the Ministry of Education and Sports should implore moving forward that some of this budget that come as an emergency should be something that is planned for every financial year, so that also as we work towards achieving some of these core curriculum activities at school and also at the national level, Parliament is always not put at this kind of emergency, especially now that we are looking at 2.5 billion shilling and Uganda is limping economically. The taxpayers out there, they may think that Parliament always just approve anything, and yet these are some of the things that can make Uganda achieve the Vision 2040. I beg to submit, and I want to beg my brother, Honorable Minister Peter Wang, to take this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also join this Parliament to congratulate the two rugby teams for winning the gold in Ghana and even winning the hosting rights for the 2024 and 25 editions of the African Rugby Union. But Madam Speaker, I would like to urge all members of Parliament here to join in the race to promote rugby in this whole nation. The way you do to football and netball is the same way as leaders we should do to rugby, because rugby as a game, it has promoted Uganda very highly. I remember when we went to the Commonwealth Games in Australia, our rugby sevens team performed very well. And when we went to all African Games, it performed very well.
Members, if your time gets over, don't just switch on.
Sorry, Madam Speaker.
Okay,
I had
finish.
forgotten.
You had forgotten because you have been away for some time.
So the mind had forgotten so many things.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for this additional time. So members, we can also, as members of Parliament, organize these tournaments in our own regions in any way. That's how we will get concerned about the playing fields, the nature of the game. And by the way, one of the members has said that it is a scaring game. No, rugby is like another game. It has its own rules, and it is very comfortable being played. It is there in some schools, and there is a tournament at national level for schools in the rugby, from the rugby union. So we can also enjoy it, organizing it to ease work for the rugby union. Otherwise, I congratulate you, because it is not easy to get Africa games here. We've seen how we struggled in football with the Africa Cup of Nations up to now. We don't have the qualities to organize AFCON. We are struggling with them, but for you, you got the qualities even before government could intervene. We thank you very much. So 2 billion is too little. We can order here like they ordered for 17 billions to be wired on your account tonight. That is how government will.
Aru.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to congratulate the government of Uganda and the Uganda Rugby Union for holding our flag up high. This shines the name of Uganda with other countries like South Africa. Right Honorable Speaker, with unemployment of 2.9% in Uganda currently, with youths grappling with drug addiction at 60%, I believe it's high time Uganda takes sports and rugby as a mechanism of curbing unemployment. Right Honorable Speaker, rugby earns in revenue into this country. And if the government takes seriously the policy of employing youths into sports, and later on, these youths are employed within government entities, it will lead to reduction of drug usage in the country and employment. I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Feta.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I join my colleagues in congratulating the government.
And those were the proceedings from Parliament, and of course UBC TV has been live there. And it's time now for us to have updates in as far as news is concerned. Welcome and good afternoon. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and let's bite into the bulletin. The President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency
the stand of The standoff between traders and the tax body has been escalated, with the number of shops around Kampala under key and lock. Many traders were sighted standing outside their shops. The concerns are still the same: the e-receipt system, increasing the VAT taxes to 18%, and the fiscal receipting system, EFRIS, should be looked at by the authorities.
Nenge ensonga gazi z'amaduuka ya e-receipt tetugitegeera ffe ng'abasuubuzi, tufuna ssente entono, ebizimbe bya bbeeyi naye abantu bo waggulu abo tebakitegeera.
Officials requesting them to answer our questions. They have refused to answer our questions, but I'm requesting them, humble request. This is a humble request to all government officials which are concerned to issues of the traders, that please come and answer the question that we...
Lunaku olwaleero ebizimbe nga bwe mubiraba byaggaddwawo, abantu tuli mu kwekalakaasa lwa misolo gye batuteekako. Tebatunyonnyola, simanyi ifirizi, abantu ba wansi tetubimanyi ebyo. Tetumanyi, simanyi ifirizi, tumanyi genda ku dduuka n'ogula ne bakuwa lisiiti yo n'ogenda n'okola.
The military and police have been deployed along city streets and suburbs to ensure peace and stability as the standoff continues. The traders' leaders explained that they have been engaging the tax body and the Ministry of Finance to no avail, and now want to meet President Yoweri Museveni to have their tax grievance resolved.
So we are expecting positive response about the IFRIS, about the high taxes, import duty, values, enforcement, and what have you. So let us wait on Friday when we shall be having a meeting with His Excellency.
That system, it went away. Nakumat, it went away. ShopRite, it went away. Kampala Cement and the other companies, you can see them going away because this system, nobody can use it and the business remains. Business of Uganda, it is just, we are just
Uganda Revenue Authority meanwhile believes the ongoing sensitization of traders is the way to go. Mary Namkose, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Ogenda muduka n'ogula empale n'ogula saati bw'oteeka mu kafa n'osanga olina naye nga bayagala.
Our cry as I told you before, that these manufacturers should remain to their factories. For us, the consumers, we get the products, then we sell to the last consumers. Then for the issue of the inference, as I told you that it's not well sensitized about the local people, it's so expensive because people working using inference, when you're using inference, it means that you need to get internet, full internet, to serve your clients. In case you don't have inference and you have sales of 450 and above, and they get a wholesaler or a last consumer with goods without a receipt, they bring that last consumer to your shop. In case you don't have that receipt or you have the machine and you refuse to give out the receipt, you'll be charged 5 million shillings. Or in case you have sales of 450 and above and you fail to attain that machine, you'll be liable to a fine of 50 million shillings or be jailed for 10 years.
Batola ku piisi endala 2,000 wojje busi ya piisi endala bagenda nusu kanaana oyikiriza wasasula kabiri bakugemera mu mabira buli duuka balyenda ku ssente
n'amala omwezi ayekendeza emisolo nga tekendeziza misolo tuzira kutinda kusobola kubaawo ku musolo gwa gavumenti eno buli kimu batuyiganya gulandirenti kolapaterenti buli muntu buli kintu n'ebikaba oli kukiwulira onenga tunamala omwezi muloko dawuni titwalya
tuli mu kwekalakaasa omuchina asigale mu kampuni omuchina asigale mu kampuni tukoyo sala ebintu buli dakiika ate ng'ebintu omusolo guli waggulu yo omuchina asala ebintu buli dakiika bafuula ebintu nti babikolera wano naye ebintu bya bbeeyi. President Museveni URA gigambe ereka abasuubuzi tukole
abasaadde bano baveeyo bayogere ensonga enambula okufuula ensonga nti omusolo gwe bali tutaku mungi tutuli kufunamu aye ng'ate okusinga n'abakyala bali kusinga kufuna mu kintu kino tukole tutya ekintu kino okukimalawo n'ekyokubiri abakyala tukwenda beereyo mu makolero abantu batambuza emirimu gyabwe bulungi olw'omusolo guno omungi awo nga ife abasuubuzi mweganga municipality ntono ino yabutamu mativu ku misolo gya gavumenti era yalukanika emisolo nga bweyenda ezaketwiriza amagira amafu amadwaliro omuza amadagala twaba n'omumativu twasalawo twigale olwaleero nga bakamba ife abakolera abasuubuzi bwe basazeewo tuleme kukola lwaleero bayiribiba oluguudo luno tukoye ebintu byekanaime ebintu birigulika abakasoma babuze abakyena batumazeeku emirembe tusazeewo twigalewo leero embere terere.
The Director for Basic Education at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Ismail Mulindwa, has credited the outgoing Deje Secondary School head teacher for exhibiting good managing skills during his tenure. Mulindwa was representing the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, at a Thanksgiving and farewell ceremony for Dr. Kahigiriza, who has retired as head teacher Ndeje Secondary School.
Through his innovative Teacher of the Year award that is accorded annually to the teacher who demonstrates unwavering commitment to the teaching and professionalism and attains other notable achievements in their line of work, many teachers have been motivated to serve with diligence.
Archbishop Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu appreciated Charles Kahigiriza for his numerous accomplishments at Ndeje SS.
You know, I was making a kind of searching around your name. Kahigiriza is connected to hunting. Somebody who hunts and brings food. But also when we put in our context here, there is a context of teaching as well. One who teaches, Kahigiriza, but a hunter that is connected. And this is what you have done. You have hunted very well for us. You have taught very well. And you are finishing very well.
Kahigiriza, who is now the new University Secretary in Ndeje University, explained that teaching has always been his calling and choice.
I want to thank God. I was made a caretaker head teacher for 2 terms, and the 3rd term I was a substantive head teacher. I served in Nachenyi for 8 years, and from after 8 years I came to Chijabwemi, where I served for 5 years, and that's when I was brought to Ndeje Senior Secondary School. Part-time, this is a lecturer at Uganda Christian University.
The Parents and Teachers Association chairman, Ndeje SS, Dr. Sematiko Gordon Katende, said that Kahigiriza excelled at both infrastructure development and academics during his tenure at Ndeje.
Spearheaded many activities in the school, right from academics to infrastructure development. The old students and people who have ever served at Ndeje can tell that even when they come, they ask whether these are new buildings or they are the old buildings which were left behind.
Canon Dr. Charles Kahigiriza was gifted with a Toyota Prado and many other gifts for his selfless service. He started his teaching career 35 years ago at Masaka Secondary School. The basic The basic medication provided at Matuga Health Center 2 during the health camp organized by the Rotary Club of Matuga focused on common illnesses like body checkups, HIV/AIDS screening and provision of medicine, among others. The in charge of Matuga Health Center 2, Dr. Sentongo Mike, commends the role of partners to this health center because service needs overwhelm available resources.
The support of private partners is really very crucial and important to our facility. Of course, given the scarcity of the resources, especially economically from the government, is trying. However, we still can't meet all the necessities, the necessities of the population. So if at all we get private partners like Rotary and others to support us, to give us a hand, it really boosts up the service delivery, and at least the patients are sure that when they come, they will receive extra services.
Rotary Club of Matuga mobilized other partners in the community to resources for this medical camp. These supported the health